Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Kris. This video is sponsored by YouBuyWeRush. This is an audience of one, episode 8, create an environment for success, protect your inner circle. Because it is over that 25-minute mark, I'm going to have to break this down into 2 videos. Just makes it a little bit easier for me. I know some people don't like it. It is what it is. I got to do it. All right, before we get started, if you can click the thumbs up button for me, that helps out tremendously. You can subscribe to the channel. Those are 2 options. They do help. I get if you don't want to. Okay. You can donate to the channel through the thanks button. If you do, you can request a video and then your name's sponsoring that video. You can still request without donating. Just takes a little bit more time and video.
Audience of One by Gen University, in which we deliver motivational and spiritually uplifting content to individuals who may feel like they're down and out and overwhelmed by their shortcomings and need a reminder that they have worth and value and a gift that they need to share with the world once they realize their true potential and work towards becoming the person that they were meant to be. When you decide to change your life and you make that decision to become a better person, a better version of yourself, that decision inevitably comes with the necessity that you take action. And while you could do good deeds in some random fashion, the best method is going to be for you to create calculated goals with specific measurables. And once you have these goals that you're going to be working towards, whether they are spiritual goals, whether they're physical goals, health goals, financial goals, relationship goals, you're going to need to make sure that you create an environment for success. And your environment is going to be defined by the people, places, and things that you encounter either by choice or by circumstance as you go through this journey. The people are going to be friends, they're going to be family, coworkers, employees, vendors, employees of vendors, random people that you interact with on the street or public transportation. The places are going to be your home, the homes of your friends and your families, the places that you go for recreation or relaxation, your place of work. To some extent, it's going to be the city or the town that you live in. And the things are going to be the things that you consume, be it by ingesting them, injecting them, inhaling them, by viewing them, listening to them, or purchasing them and having them in your presence. All of these things are going to make up the environment that you are going to operate in as you try to become a better person, as you work on your spirituality, as you work on your relationship with God, as you work on your relationship with others, as you work on your relationship with yourself, your character, all in order to become the best person that you can be while trying to make an impact on other people's lives. All of these different factors are things that we're going to consume in one way or another that are going to affect our morale, our morals, our motivation, our discipline, our actions, and our reactions as we continue to try to move forward to better ourselves and to work towards our goals. An analogy can be made with dieting. We oftentimes think of dieting as a part-time set of standards that we utilize for health purposes in order to reach a certain appearance. But a real diet is a long-term set of habits that make up your lifestyle with regards to your nutrition that has a long-term effect on your health and your appearance. And just like we have a diet for our physical health, we need a diet for our emotional, our mental, as well as our spiritual well-being. And we need to look at the people, the places, and the things that we surround ourselves with and how they're going to affect our character, how they're going to affect our spiritual health, how they're going to affect our morale, our motivation as we continue to strive towards accomplishing our goals of first and foremost bettering ourselves, and then also the external goals that we have and our goals to make an impact on everyone else. Out of these 3 things, people, places, and things, we want to address the people that are in our lives and create a protocol for who do we allow into our lives and who do we allow to remain in our lives. Because the people in our lives are going to have a huge impact on us. We need to make sure that we have an understanding of who do we let into our inner circle. Because chances are you haven't really done this very well in the past. And it's really important to focus on people first because while you can address all 3 at the same time, when you're looking at places and things, you can control those. But when you're talking about people, other people oftentimes bring into your life places and things that you can't always necessarily control. So we need to talk about the type of people that you want to take along with you on this journey and the type of people that you really don't want to be riding with you while you're going through all of these tests and trials to try to build yourself up to the person that you want to become and as you're trying to accomplish all of these goals. Generally speaking, people are typically going to fall into three categories. You're going to have the supporters, you're going to have the detractors, and then you're going to have parasites, which is pretty similar to how you might break people down spiritually with regards to being believers, disbelievers, and then hypocrites. It's important for us to take some time to understand these three categories, as well as how we should interact with these three categories of people, and also take a look at our past and try to really analyze what types of people did we allow into our lives in the past, and how can we learn from those experiences to make sure that we don't replicate some of the mistakes that we'd fallen into. And we need to create a mental plan or a protocol for how are we going to interact with these people as we encounter them along our path to self-improvement. Because many of us never take the time to sit back and really analyze our lives, and specifically with regards to the people that we surround ourselves with. Oftentimes, we take these relationships for granted. We rarely ask ourselves, why do we have the people in our lives that we do? Why do I have the friends that I have? Why do I hang out with the people that I hang out with? Is it because they're my friends? And if so, have I ever sat back and asked myself, what does it mean to be my friend? What are the qualifications to hold such a position? Do I have a standard that I hold people to? Are these people my friends just because they share the same zip code as me? Or maybe they are just coworkers? Are my friends because I'm afraid to be alone? I'm afraid that I can't make new friends? Oftentimes you're so lonely that you're just desperate for companionship, and that the standard isn't even a standard outside of, do they have a pulse and are they available? And regardless of whether we're talking about friends or coworkers or family or anyone else that you may decide to or just have to be surrounded by due to circumstance, we have to start asking ourselves, do we need to be around these people? And if so, how do I create a relationship that is not going to detract from my well-being as well as the goals that I have set out for myself? And if they're not relationships of circumstance that are unavoidable, then you definitely need to create some sort of standard for understanding, who do I let into my life? Who do I let into my inner circle? Who is going to be a friend and who is not? Now, this doesn't mean that if you're not in my inner circle that I'm going to treat you coldly or that I'm going to mistreat you in any way, shape, or form. It's just that there needs to be a difference between the individuals that you interact with, even if it's on a daily basis, and those individuals that you let into your inner circle. Because it's easier to mitigate the negative repercussions of the individuals that you interact with on a very superficial level. It's a lot harder to mitigate the negative repercussions of people that you surround yourself with on a daily basis for a consistent amount of time over a consistent amount of time. These types of people and these types of relationships are going to have the power to influence you either positively or negatively. And so you have to be very careful about who those people are in those types of relationships. So when you're talking about bringing people into your inner circle, people that you're going to surround yourself.
I've had both. I've had people who've influenced me both ways. Sometimes a person who I'm like, probably not a person I want to keep in my life, has influenced me in positive ways because I see what they do and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. And then sometimes you have good people that you're like, for a good person, you really are not good. And then you feel that type of attitude rubbing off on you. You know, the person could be fine, but when you're in a car with them and they're driving, they're riding up on the backside of somebody else's car and they're honking their horn and they're flashing their lights, you know, get out of the left lane. Or somebody pulls out in front of them and they swerve over and they flip them off and then they drive off. Meanwhile, a mile down the road, they cut someone off. And then when that person drives up and gives them a look, they're like, what the hell is that all about? It's like, you did the same thing that person you just got mad at did to you. You just did the same thing to them. And like, you know, they're just freaking out. And it's kind of like, oh my gosh, why are we yelling at a woman in her 70s for what? I've been influenced by both. So, yeah. Sometimes, some people.
with on a consistent basis out of choice because you want them to be around you, obviously you're going to want supporters. You don't have time for anybody else. But supporters aren't just going to be cheerleaders. We're not talking about people who are just verbally supportive with no substance. That's like somebody on Facebook who likes your post. Like, thanks, but that's not getting you entry into my inner circle. That's not somebody that I want to have in my corner. Supporters are people who are going to check a number of boxes, including but not limited to being loyal, people you can trust with your situations, people you can have deeper conversations with, people that encourage you towards your goals, people that have their own goals and through them encourage you again towards your own goals. They're people who push you towards your goals, but also push you to go beyond what you think you're capable of. These are people that create a relationship and an environment that is conducive for your success. Now, it should go without saying that you don't want detractors anywhere near you. So detractors are a little bit tricky because they fall into different groups and it's not always obvious that they're actually a detractor. The first type of a detractor are the obvious ones. These are the people who put you down, they insult you, they discourage you, they sometimes openly try to sabotage you. They're wolves. It is absolutely clear where they stand and it is not with you. Essentially, these are haters. You might ask, yeah, but who would engage with such types of people? And unfortunately, many of us fall into this trap of surrounding ourselves with the wrong people because we're desperate for companionship. And that's why we said very early on, you have to become comfortable going it alone, because only when you are comfortable going it alone are you able to differentiate between the people that you should actually have in your life and everybody else, because you're not afraid of being alone. You're not afraid of having a lack of companionship because you've gotten to the point where you're comfortable doing this alone. And once you're at that state, then you can start being selective in who do you let into your inner circle. But unfortunately, for many, you're weak. And you, in some sad way, would rather have people that are going to put you down, drag you down, keep you down, kick you while you're down, than have nobody at all. The second type of detractors are the subtle ones. These are the most difficult because they appear to be supporters. They might even actively support you verbally. They're good to you, they're kind to you, they tell you to get after it, but they're detractors in the following ways. The first and foremost is that they're just negative people. They live in a world of misery and they want company. They throw pity parties and you are always invited. The world sucks, life sucks, and there's nothing that you or anyone else can do about it. And if you surround yourself with people like this enough, you're going to start to believe the things that they say. The next type of subtle detractors are the people who have a poor mindset. They're not going anywhere. They're not trying to improve. They don't even see that it's possible. They don't even think that they should. When you're trying to go somewhere, you need to surround yourself with people that are also trying to go places, not people that are stuck where they're at and have no intention or any desire to get out of where they are. The third type, again, these could be friends. They encourage you. They're positive. They like you. They're never mean to you, but they indulge in people, places, and things that are not in any way, shape, or form going to help you get closer to, never mind reach your goals. We're talking about drugs, we're talking about alcohol, we're talking about gambling, we're talking about partying, we're talking about clubbing, we're talking about all the different types of vices that are not productive. This could come in the form of hanging out on the streets. This could come in the form of just excessively watching screens, from video games to Netflix to other activities that, again, they're just not trying to improve their lives, and in fact, they're doing a lot of things that are detrimental to it. The last of these, which is worth mentioning, are the people who discourage you not by putting you down, but by discouraging you from propping yourself up. Again, this comes in the form of you're doing too much. Don't push yourself too hard. You're going to hurt yourself. Or the worst of it, which is you're fine the way you are. There's no reason for you to change. These are the people who hate to see you rise.
These people also, they hate to see you rise because you're going to be leaving them. There's a fear that you're going to be better. You're going to elevate yourself. So what are you going to do? You're not going to be reaching back down to them. You're going to, you're working forward, and they're looking at it like, I got to latch onto this person and bring them back to earth. And they're going to tell other people, I'm just humbling them. I got to bring them back down to earth, make them realize, you're no better than me. Well, that's the goal. The goal is I want to be better than you. We all have hierarchies in life. I'm done being on this one. I want to be better. And those people, yeah, they were in my family. One of them I don't talk to. It's about, I'm better. You'll never be better. So just stay in this realm where you belong. Yeah.
Rise out of what? Because if you have to rise out of anything and they're in it with you, then logically speaking, they should rise out of it too. But it's a whole lot easier to tell you that, hey man, you're fine. You don't need to change anything. Don't be so hard on yourself, because that means that they don't have to change anything either. It's a lot easier to tell you that you don't need to change. You don't need to improve. You're fine the way you are. Don't push yourself too hard, than to be in the same position as somebody and tell them like, yeah, you really got to do something with your life. You've got to change. You've got to fix these things. You've got to work on your character. You've got to work on your relationships. You've got to develop your spirituality. You have to have goals. You've got to make things happen. You can't just stay here.
Some people, it's easier to ignore the truth, which is, look, I don't know what's going on with you, but you really need to get a hold of it. You need to shake up your life or something. Get rid of people. Make some changes, because the path you're on is not going to be very good. It's not going to be a long-term path, or you're going to be in jail. You're going to be homeless. You need to make some changes. It's hard sometimes to be truthful with people in that aspect, because unfortunately, words hurt. Sometimes a dose of reality can be painful to some people. And so they're more, oh, I can't believe you said that to me. It's so rude. In the word, I don't remember, Candace Owen, not a big fan, but she made me laugh one time. Somebody made a question, and it was a question / statement. And her response was, life's hard, wear a helmet. And I just laughed at that, because I thought, it's true. It's true. Life's difficult. We would all love to be in a nice, warm, comfortable bubble where nothing affects us and we can do this. That's what you think when you're young. That's what life is going to be. It's just this easy, simple thing. Then you get older and you're like, wait a minute, I got to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. Yeah. Life doesn't protect you. So, honesty sometimes has to just be painful, because sometimes you need to hear it. And if it's painful and it needs to be said, you need to hear it, and you need to let it soak in and just be like, oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. But like I said, it's easier to be soft and gentle with people, because we don't want to hurt their feelings. Instead of just saying, I don't know, maybe, do you have some cologne or something, Instead of just saying, hey, look, dude, you stink. You should shower more or use deodorant. You reek. You smell like a sewage plant. I don't want to be around you. No, we just smell. Maybe you change deodorant or no. It's just sometimes you just need to smack people in the face with words of truth. You know what I mean?
If you're in that very same situation, what does it say about you? And then when they come at you with that saying of you're doing too much, this is because you've shattered their ceiling for hard. An example of this is you're running. right? And you start out by running 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 miles every day. And hey, that's a lot. Like, wow, that's really impressive for a lot of people. But as a runner, you continue to run, and after a while, 5 miles is just a warm-up. When you start running 15 to 20 miles a day, now you're just doing too much. You're pushing yourself too hard. You're going to get injured. This comes out this way because your initial 5 miles, well, that was hard. But now you're making that look easy, which makes them look lazy. And again, it's a whole lot easier to tell you, hey, you're pushing yourself too hard, take it easy, you're doing too much, than for them to start thinking for themselves and saying, man, maybe I should start running too. You know, if he's doing 15, I should be able to do 5. It's easier to tell you to take it easy than it is to look in the mirror and realize that they have work to do. So this...
I'm going to stop it right there. It's very true. Very true. I'm going to go back another 5 seconds just so. But this is part 1. We will be back with part 2. I'm not going to say a whole lot. I'm just going to jump right back into it. So, hope you're enjoying it. Till next time, have a good day, have a good night.